Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the International Think Tank shared between B.I.G and the Coastal Women. It is always lovely, truly lovely, like I said at the opening, to see everyone's faces pop up, coming in from across the globe. So today we have a really great presentation for you that's going to start digging into your brand story. So to kick off our day, let me grab my quote. We have an inspiration like we always do in B.I.G, and here it comes into your chat. Here we, whoops, gotta go to everyone. And boom. So your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Okay, Chris Ducker. Now, we know that people talk, right? People like to gossip, people like to chit chat, people are curious. So the statement here is saying that what they say about you in that room is the brand message that people are perceiving. We're here today to help craft that story, to help guide them to understanding better what to say about you when you're not there. And what we know about women, right, is we love to support and empower one another. That is the essence of why we are here. So as we go forward today, ladies, let's think about all the ways that we can support the stories that we are building together today. So with that, I would like to introduce Ali Meehan. She is our partner in International Women's Empowerment. So Ali, if you'd like to introduce yourself, and then we'll get into some introductions of the group.
Yeah, sure. So welcome, ladies. Really nice to see you. Nice to see some new faces. Hi, Anne. Nice to see you here. Anne is someone that we're looking at collaborating with as well. So it's really exciting she's on the call too. So this afternoon, I'm looking forward to hearing from Reme about our personal brand story, because I think it's really important that we have that honed and we know what we can say and how we can show up as well. So do you want me to do the next part where we go around the room, or do you want to do that?
Sure, we can kind of start it together. I'm just putting into the chat the questions, but today for our introduction, because we're going to be talking about our brand stories quite a bit, the introduction today is your name, where you're coming from, where you're joining us from today, the title of your business, and on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you in your brand story? All right, let me finish that up.
And ladies, if you want to put your information into the chat as well, please
Absolutely.
do that.
Absolutely. As we're going through, feel free to drop in how we can connect with you and all the things. But name, where you're from, title of your business, and on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you in your brand story? Okay. And we're going to go just right around here, and we're going to start with Anella.
My name is Anella, and I am from Denmark originally, but live here in Spain. And I have a small company who called Wellbeing Forever. And I'm at 3.5 on my confidence in my brand name and in my branding. So yeah,
That's great.
That's me.
Thank you so much. Anne, you're up.
Thank you. Anne Ljungberg. I'm Swedish, but I live half of the year in Spain, calling in from France right now. I'm slowly traveling north.
Very cool.
And my business is Expert Coalition, where I do several things. So I'm not going to get in too deep in that. And I definitely need to do something about my brand story. As much as I love storytelling and helping other people do this, yes, please. I'll say I'm about it too.
Thank you. All right, Monica, please. And then
Hello,
Marlene, you'll be up next.
I'm originally from Germany, living in Spain, and my company is called Viva Habitat. It is a e-commerce for furniture and home decoration. I think I'm on a 3. I'm actually in the process of finding my brand and did a bit of a work and try to find my niche. and want to brand it as a lifestyle e-commerce furniture store.
Awesome. Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. Marlene, and then we'll have Simona up.
Hello there, ladies. I'm in Spain, originally from the UK, moved around a little bit, but back in Spain. I'm a therapist. I specialize in relationships and I do coaching as well. I also write self-help books, and I've recently rebranded to, going the wrong way, Courage to Be You is my brand. Having a fantastic time doing YouTube videos or channel for my new brand. So having an amazing time. I'd say I'm probably about 3.5, 4 in terms of my message. Very confident in that. I'm a little bit hazy about what brand story is and how that connects. So I'm really interested to find out more about that today.
Awesome. Thank you. Simona and then Karina.
Hello, ladies. So I'm calling from Italy. I'm a holistic life coach. I specialize in life purpose and in health and holistic health. When it comes to my story, I'm about a 4 if I think about my story and how important it is and all of that for my brand, but I'm at a, don't know, below 3 when it comes to communicating it. And so that's also why I'm so grateful to have Rima in my life already. So working on that.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. Karina and then Melanie, please.
Hi, ladies. I am in New Jersey, but I am originally from Denmark. So that's so fun to see some Danish and Swedes and all of you from Europe. That's fantastic. I am an EFT practitioner and I'm also a trauma-informed coach. And I would say I'm probably at a 3, but I would just love to get some tools of how to tell my story in a different way and how to get that across. So I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Melanie and then Michelle, please.
Good morning, everybody. I am from exotic New Jersey and came from New York, so I don't have any of these wonderful countries to hail from. My business is Melanie Wilson Media, and I hope I'm a 5. I'm going to put it out there because that is my business too. I work with entrepreneurial women, helping them craft and find their story. And my number 1 product is I write about me pages for women's websites, which then moves on to all their branding, social media. So I'm looking forward to hearing a different approach today too. Thank you.
Love it. Michelle and then Angelica.
Hi, ladies. Great to see you. Great to see some familiar faces and meet new faces. Michelle Shalin. I'm calling in from Austin, Texas in the US. I lived in Valencia, Spain for 3.5 years. So that's how I got connected with Allie and you guys. And my company is Mindful Metamorphosis. I'm a mindfulness corporate trainer and a mental fitness coach. And I think I'm a 4, but I might change my mind after I learn the definition of the what you're talking about more. So
that's great. Awesome. Thank you. And we'll do Angelica and then Svetlana, please.
Well, thank you. I'm a relocator. My business is Relocation Angel Spain, and I am the angel. And so what I do is house search, paperwork, and I have collaborators to do the school search and any other things that people need when they come to live in Madrid.
Cool.
That's
how are
me.
you with your brand story?
Brand story, I don't know how to say it, really. Like, I can tell you how it all started, yeah, and it has evolved better and better. Yeah. But in this, I am here to listen to your stories just as well.
Thank you. All right, Svetlana and then Jane.
Wow, such a great international company and diversity as well. Fantastic. Well, my name is Svetlana and I was born in Russia, hence my name. But the whole of my life I've lived in Denmark. Hello, Denmark. There are several people that have been from there. So, and I'm planning to move to Spain in a couple of years. At the moment, I'm just employed. I don't have my company. I'm employed as a career coach, and my branding story is on level 0, probably, because I've tried a lot, but I don't know what I want. That's why all communities and interesting people attract me. That's why I'm here.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Jane and then Ingrid, please.
Jane, are you there? Are you frozen? I think she's frozen.
I think she's
not
frozen.
moving. Yeah.
Okay, Ingrid, can we jump to you, please? Oh,
Hello, good evening from Spain. My name is Ingrid Joya and I'm Estonian, and just a couple of months ago I moved to Spain. I organize events, both entertainment and mindfulness events. Also, I'm an educator. And on a scale from 1 to 5, I believe back in Estonia, it was 4.5. But since I'm in a new market, so I think in here, maybe it's 3.5. So I'm just searching for how to settle in and tell my story in a new country, in a new culture. So thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
excellent. And Jane, did we get you?
I don't know. It disconnected and then reconnected. Can you see me now?
Can't see you, but we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Well, that's good.
We're halfway there.
I'm Jane Durback. I'm from St. Pete, Florida.
We're losing you, girl. All right. If you get back into good service, we'll certainly make some room for an introduction. I will go next, and then we'll have Allie.
And I don't really have a brand.
I'm just gonna mute for a minute. Okay. So my name is Michaela Burdyshaw. I'm here in New Jersey in the United States. I am the Chief Joy Officer and Director of Leadership here at B.I.G, Believe, Inspire, Grow. And I also am the founder of Joy Enterprises, where we do coaching, workshops, and all the things. My scale, it's pretty low. It's pretty low. I'll be honest with that. I love to talk. I love stories. I love all the things. But when it comes to me and mine, I just struggle to zip it up in a meaningful way. So I'm always looking for improvements there. And Allie, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Michaela. So I would say for Costa Women, it's probably out of 5. I'd be a bit worried if it wasn't. But I think for me as a business growth coach, it's probably much lower than that, about a 3, and needs a lot of work doing on it. So I'm really excited to hear Remy. And actually, Chitra's just joining. I don't know if we want to wait a minute for her to jump on the call to share hers, or whether we get her to share at the end. What do you think, Michaela?
I think she's ready. Chitra, you're
Okay.
ready to tell us who you are, where you're from, the name of your business, and on a scale of 1 to 5, how you feel, how confident you are in your brand story.
Hi everyone. Sorry, were you calling on me?
It's your turn. You're up.
Okay, sorry. Are we
That's okay.
introducing any prompts?
Name, business, title, where you're calling from, and on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you in your brand story?
Okay. Hi everybody. I'm Chitra Roshlani. I'm joining you from Livingston, New Jersey. I am a wellness coach, a speaker, and an author of the book The Warrior Mindset. I am also a medium and an intuitive healer, which I kind of kept hidden for 20 years, but since the past 2 years, I'm openly sharing that with everyone. On a scale of 1 to 5, how strongly do I feel about my brand story? I could always do better, so I'm going to stay with a 3 or 4 if 5 is great, or the opposite. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Brilliant. So let's hand over to Remy. Michaela, Jane, I'll mute you because we've got quite a lot of background noise. Reme is one of our members here in Malaga, and she's very much around branding. That's her main theme, supporting women in their brand. So, Reme, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself. And we'll look forward to hearing from you. And if you need me to share your slides, let me know.
Okay, thank you very much. So, hey everyone, thank you very much for being here. So excited to be doing this talk for you. And I am a personal brand strategist, and I am specialized in connecting your story with the benefits of what you sell. And if I am honest, in a scale of 1 to 5, in my own personal brand, I can do better. But yeah, this is a work in progress, and that's why I always encourage others to keep practicing, keep sharing your story. You will find how the practice will help you to find the angle that you feel more comfortable with. And so I'm going to share my screen because I have a little presentation that could help us to go through this together. Okay. Can you see it? Okay, perfect. So yeah, my goal today is to share with you 3 mistakes to avoid when sharing your personal brand story. And first, okay, this is like the summary of what we are going to see. First, I want to start by why it's important to share our stories, then the mistake, how to avoid them. I will present to you my framework, and then some examples and a practical exercise. The practical exercise will be also in a workbook. I didn't get to get the link, but you can just contact me and I am going to share with you. So, why to share your story? This is something to me as a personal brand or a business owner. Your story is an incredible asset in the sense of there could be more people offering similar service, similar solutions. There are no one else with your same life path. So if you have ever wondered who cares about your story, let me tell you, your audience does. And your audience can be that information that make them understand your journey, trust you more, and really appreciate the benefit of working with you. That's why this is a message that I always like to repeat, because it's something important, especially to us as women. Your story is relevant and it's worth telling. Your audience will care about your story and can be so inspiring for them. So please be open to share your story. So let's go to the mistakes. Through my work with clients, with my audience, one of the main things that I have seen is how people are not strategic enough. And let me explain you what I mean here. Of course, sharing an interesting story, something nice or outstanding is good, but it's important that we focus on the strategic side. This is related to our business, so it's important that we think about why we're sharing a specific moment and how that moment is connected to what we offer. That way, there is a sense of why we're sharing that. And it's like a bridge for us to explain a key factor of what we offer or why our approach is different to other people. So being strategic is also giving us reasons of why we're sharing that story and why it's meaningful. So I will explain later in the presentation some approaches, so what we can be more strategic. So, but for now, let's get the idea that this is one of the main mistakes that we should avoid. The second is the lack of boundaries. There are some people that they feel forced to overshare. So to share more than they feel comfortable with. And this is so important to me because privacy is a big thing. So I want to cultivate a personal brand that is memorable, that is profitable, but at the same time, I want to keep my privacy. And here, something that I would like to highlight is how when you are sharing your story, it's not that much about the details of that specific moment and how you share all the private details. It's more about the lessons that that moment brought to you and the emotions that you experience, because that is the information that will help your audience to connect with you. So you are the one deciding the level of detail, and you are the one deciding if you are sharing your story in a superficial level or you want to go deep in sharing more details because it makes sense for your purpose, for the key factor that you want to highlight. So this is the second mistake, the lack of boundaries. And the third mistake is that I see is the lack of repetition, because sometimes we can feel that we are just repeating ourselves and sharing the same stories. And let me tell you, sharing your story in a post is not enough. We need to share in several ways, several formats, and keep finding ways to share that messaging, share that story, because as we say, there is a strategy behind. So we are sharing that story for a reason. That's why it's important that that message, we convey that message. So don't worry about being too repetitive. And I always say as a joke that if I go back to my own content, sometimes I forgot what I have published, let's say 3 months ago. Imagine the people that are following you. We have so many messages, so many impacts of information, social media, and in our lives, that it's important that we keep sharing our message, because what we are doing is helping our audience to resonate with us and to really connect with us. That's why it's important to repeat our message. So I would like to know which of these mistakes do you resonate more with? So 1, 2, or 3, to know a bit in which stages are you. If you want to share in the chat, maybe. Which one do you feel is the biggest for you? Okay, number 3, number 2, number 1, 3. Okay, so we have a variety here. That's good. So these are the 3 mistakes. And to me, all of them, they have behind like a big problem. And the problem, in my opinion, is the lack of clarity. Because when we have clarity, we know why we are sharing our story. There is strategy behind. We have set our boundaries. We have clarity on which is the level that we felt confident sharing. And then we know why we are sharing our messages and our stories. That's why we are not afraid of being repetitive. So having the clarity is something that helps you in the whole context, and in my opinion, will help you to feel more confident sharing your story and connecting your story with your offering. So the question will be now how to get clarity on what to share, right? So for doing that, that's why I developed the framework Story Connectors, because it's a way for me to explain how you can be strategic in deciding what moments of your story to share, to highlight what is important for you, to highlight the skills that you have, to highlight the values that you bring to your clients. So a story connector is a moment in your journey that is directly connected and will help you to highlight a specific key factor of your offering. That's why I use this visual element of the 2 circles, because they are linked. There are a point of connection. And that point of connection will help you to make your audience understand the context of why you are doing what you do, and understand why you are someone trustworthy and why and how you are unique. But I think if I use an example, it will be easier to understand. So I am bringing one example of a client of mine. She's a life coach, and she helps female entrepreneurs who felt misalignment with the work that they do. So in her case, when we were exploring the 10 story connectors, yeah, forgot to mention, my framework, there is 10 type of story connectors, and they are related to different factors of your offering, like the problem that you solve and your work experience and your skills, the main value, and so on. So I am bringing 3 different examples here. So back to the example that I am bringing, my client, she's a life coach, and she's focused on solving a problem, which is the desire of having a meaningful work. So this is the situation that their clients has. And then when exploring her journey, we were looking for moments in her own life where he felt that way. Because one of the things that you should use when sharing your story is looking for moments when you were in their shoes. So they can see how you truly understand them because you were there. So in her case, before being a life coach, she has a business, and outside the business looked good. She was like working few hours per week, getting good results for her clients, making good money, but inside something was not okay. She felt that she was not aligned with her work anymore. So at the end, she decided to close that business. So sharing this story can help her to start talking with their clients about these topics, about how she really understands that process when from outside everything looks fine, but inside you are feeling that you need to move from here, you are not in the right place, this is not meaningful, why I'm doing this. So she really understands their situation. That's why sharing that piece of story can help her to create like real connection, genuine connection with her audience. Let's go to the second example. So this example is related to her work experience. In that case, it's experience from a previous work. And this is something that I would like also for you to look at. You don't need to look just at the work experience, at the academic background that is 100% related to what you do now. Also be open to look for previous experiences, academic background that has nothing to do with what you do now. Why? Because there are lessons, there are things that you learn at that moment that are still relevant for you and are relevant for the work that you do with your clients at this point. So also it will help you to get more unique examples and a different approach that anyone else, because again, your experience is different. In her case, before being a life coach and having the previous business, she was a literature teacher, so nothing to do with what she does now. She shared with me an experience where she was teaching poetry to 13-year students, and she asked them to write a poem about something that they would like to change in the world. And the day of the presentation arrived, they started reading their poems, and at some point, she realized that several of them were talking about wearing a mask, the feeling of wearing a mask to meet the society's expectations, to meet their family expectations. This feeling of wearing a mask is 100% related to what her actual clients as a coach feel now. Because again, they feel that they are not being true to themselves, they stay in that work that they are now, but they don't feel like being there, and they are making decisions based on other people's expectations. Again, that's why when she shared this story, is helping her like a bridge to bring that topic. And it's a unique example because there are other life coaches bringing different examples, but she was the one doing this exercise with her students. So it's something unique, memorable, and it's a conversation starter. Sometimes this is something interesting too, how we can use our stories to start conversation with our audience and be having these memorable elements through our content or through how we present to the world. So let's go to the third example, which is related to one of her main values. In her case, is how listening to our inner wisdom, especially in the processes that she does. So for that, she's sharing one specific story connector, which is that when she closed that business, she took a break. And during the break, she forced herself to really listening to herself, even things that were unexpected or she haven't think about that before. She was just open to listening what her body was asking to do every day. So at some point, she felt the need to paint, even she haven't painted before. But after being open to it and trying, she realized that painting was a way for her to journal and help her during this process to healing, to understand the process and to go through it. So she really learned the lesson of, okay, I thought I was listening to myself, but now I am really, truly listening to my inner wisdom. So using this story connector for her is a way to create a space with her clients to understand how they need to trust the process and listening to themselves and being true to themselves. Again, sharing this story is allowing, is giving permission to their clients and to their audience to do the same. And it's a way where you are not just giving a step or a roadmap to do something. You are also bringing samples that are unique, that you went through that, or it doesn't need to be you. You can be the witness or a situation where you saw that process, so you are helping them to understand how this is possible or using different examples. Again, I ask you to being open to think about not just the more obvious stories. Go through your whole experience, your whole journey. There are a lot of different elements that you can use. Again, here, I want to highlight how your story will provide context to your audience. They will understand your journey. It will provide connection because you create real, genuine connection. They see how you are someone relatable. And again, it provides contrast because it shows how you are a unique combination of expertise, experience, knowledge, and your values. So that's why I highly recommend to go through your story and choose specific elements to share. In my approach, I don't go with one big story. I use these 10 type of stories, and then you can combine them or use them separately. Because to me, it's a little less overwhelming because a lot of people have this feeling of, I don't have this epic, big story. That's why choosing moments of your story can help you to connect with one specific factor, and this way you can use them in different environments, different ways. So now is your turn. I am bringing one specific example for you. As I mentioned, I have a workbook of this. So if you are interested, I can share with you. Just send me an email and I will share with all these steps. So what are the steps? The first step will be to think about the type of clients that you have. Why do you work with them? Why is their problem or their need important to you? Okay, so have a moment to think about that, write down this, and just be open to write all the ideas that came to your mind, because all that will help you to be in the mood to think about new ways. The second step will be to think of a specific moment in your life that makes you feel specially connected to them because you were dealing directly with that problem, because you were a companion, next to someone that went through that process and you were helping them in some way or not. I have, for example, a client of mine, she realized after going a process with her friend She suffered a pregnancy loss. After that process, she was with her and she felt how she could have helped her in a different way. After that moment, she went and get some training and she got specialized in that. So she was witnessing that process. And even in that moment, she couldn't help her in that way. But that was like the reason why she got into that training. So think about moments where maybe you were not the one helping that person. You were not in that situation, but you saw someone going through that situation, and that was some kind of epiphany that helped you to think about, I want to solve this. I want to find a solution for this situation. So there are not other people going through the same. So again, make a list of all the moments that you might think could fit that with that experience and that lesson that you get that is like something that is connected to the moment, the client that you want to help. Then the third will be filling the visual diagram. So in the workbook, you have one of those, but it's empty. So in this side, just write down the moment of your story, and in the other side, which is the factor that is connected to that moment. So let's say you are specialized in working with like a client of mine, she's specialized in working with ADHD entrepreneurs. So she has this, and then what is the moment of her story that makes sense, that is highlighting why she's working with this kind of people. So why that story is connected to the people that you had. And then practice explaining how that moment is connected. What is the connection, and how it's like a bridge. So you can start explaining the moment, the story, make the people think that they were witnessing that. So how you feel in that moment, what was your emotions there, and then talk about the benefit, talk about the skill that you have, talk about the value that you bring. And my suggestion is that you use the format that you are more comfortable with. That could be written, that could be audio, that could be video. And then something important is to get ready to avoid the 3 common mistakes that we just mentioned. So for the strategy, think about why this is relevant. This story is relevant for your audience, is relevant for promoting your offering. Again, boundaries. Think about the level of privacy that you are comfortable with. When you are practicing sharing your story, make sure to analyze, to think for yourself, okay, how deep I want to go into the details here. There are, for example, stories that are related to health and related to topics that are especially sensitive. So you can go in a superficial level and share about that. And I sometimes use the example of, let's say, if someone from your family get to the hospital and you rethink about your priorities in life. You don't need to go deep into the details of who is the relative or what is the problem that make them go to the hospital or things like that, because every one of us, we have an experience, a similar experience. We understand the feeling of how health is so important, and so especially when it's about someone that we love and all that. So the details doesn't matter unless they are related to your offering. Let's say if someone goes to the hospital, but it's a problem of diabetes, and then you are also a nutritionist related to diabetes patients. So there will be a connection, and maybe makes sense that you share what is the disease. So that's how I mentioned that you are the one decided the level of privacy. And again, that makes sense that they share this specific detail. Is helping me to connect deeper with them. That's the type of question that I invite you to do. And then about the repetition, think about different formats and ways to share the same story connector. And in this next slide, you have some examples of places and ways of sharing your story. It can be your About Me page, like the partner here, she's also doing the About Me page, your social media profiles, your content marketing, interviews, sites conversation, your what do you do statement when you go to a networking event, and so on. So I encourage you to go through this exercise, and invite you to go and use your story in one of these ways, and just to try, practice, and look at this as an experiment, because you are allowed to experiment, and could be good, or could be you will need more practice, and it's okay. And if you do that, please tag me if you share in social media, or send me a screenshot, because I always love to see how the story connectors in action. So I will love that. And now, if I don't know if we have the time, but maybe we can do a bit of Q&A if people have some questions. Oh yeah, I forgot this. Thank you very much. I also have a special offer for you. If any of you want my help to explore your journey and identify your story connectors, I have a 14% off. So thank you very much. And if just one thing to remember, your story is relevant and worth telling. So please go and share it. Thank you.
Thank you, Remy. Did anybody have any questions for her? Anything that came up while she was talking? Anything you want her to share again? Anything you want her to explain? Yep, sorry, Michelle, carry on.
Sorry. I just want to say thank you so much. Great presentation. And I'm really interested in getting the booklet that you offered. So if you could share your email.
Yeah, my email.
That would be wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Ingrid's asked, Ingrid, do you want to share what you wanted to ask, or do you want me to?
Yes, I can. My question is, what about talking about my skills and strengths, and when I share my story, how much or what way should I embrace myself or talk good stuff about myself? What's the to what extent, and or even how or when should I do it?
Okay. Yeah, I can use an example, so maybe it's easier to understand. One client of mine, she's a business coach, and one of her skills is how she has a creative mindset. So she has a creative thinking, and something interesting when exploring her story was how, as a kid, as a child, she was playing chess with her auntie, and she was like 2 or 3 games ahead and thinking about different scenarios and what will be the next move and all that. That is the same like when now she works with clients and she's like presenting different scenarios and helping them to figure it out, a roadmap for the different scenarios and what will be the more effective. So this is something that is a skill from her. It's not just something that she learned through the business coaching training. It's something that is on her. It's natural to her. So these kind of skills, you can bring stories that help you to highlight them. For you, the strengths and the skills, that's the same. What are the skills that are relevant for your audience and for your offering? Think about what will be interesting to highlight, especially if it's something different from others. That's something that will stand your offer out. That's something interesting to highlight, because that way it makes your offer more memorable and it highlights specific things from you, because maybe there are other professionals having similar skills, but if you have someone that is like bringing more creativity or something else that is a bit will help you to set apart. Think about that kind of skills. Go a bit, like make a list, and that's why I always like to invite people to, for example, with the work experience. Think about all your past work experience, unrelated, not related, related, and for all of them, think of a lesson or something, a skill or something that bring you that is still relevant to your work today, that is helping to approach your work in a different way because you had that previous experience from a different industry, from a different background. All of that is like making us unique and helping us to be like who we are and all the different like sides and facets that we bring. We are not just one specific person. We are like bringing different aspects from all our experiences. I don't know if that was clear.
Thank
or-
you. Yes.
Yeah.
Anne, you had a question? You've raised your hand.
Yes, could you please share that last screen where you had all the QR code and everything? I just got stalled there. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And Angelica, was it you that said something a minute ago? Or did I just mishear you? No, it wasn't you. Okay. Did anybody else have anything to ask Remy? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Yep, Monica.
Hi, Remy. Thank you for your sharing. I'm having a totally different business. I'm having an e-commerce website, and therefore there are not many ways I can share my story. The main, of course, about me. I'm rebranding basically a lifestyle shop whereby I'm also helping people who don't have the time to look for, like, I'm a scout or researcher as well for my clients. That's what I'm aiming for. But how much of my personal life should I bring on a platform like that? I'm struggling with that.
Yeah.
Because being too personal or personal at all, does that hinder me actually more than it brings me? So,
Okay. Yeah, this is something that some of people, especially for, let's say, lawyers and therapists and professionals like that, they have this struggle of, okay, how I bring my personal life here, keep being professional and not sharing too much. So again, you are the one deciding the level of detail that you go and how much you share. So you don't need to overshare, but still being like the founder of a brand, of a commercial brand, bringing your story makes sense because you are the one that that create that company. There are values that you are bringing, your approach into this the company. This is important in the way that this company is operating. So that's why, and we see that more and more, like even the big brands, they are bringing like working on the personal brand of the founders, on the CEO, on the people of their teams, because as humans, we connect better with humans. So building and help, like sharing your personal story could be helpful for your brand. But you don't need to share details, just the things that you feel comfortable with, things that are helping you to share why a certain value is important to you, an approach that you do. For example, if you are choosing specific type of furniture from one place or another, and why you are deciding on what, all of that is based on your values. So you can use and check from your story, what was the first time that you were connected to that value? How at some specific moment you were an advocate for certain type of people? Why you are trying to help with the lifestyle to your audience? What is the point of connection? And then check your story and see which moments can help you to illustrate that. Because it's not just saying, yeah, I don't know, for example, one client of mine, she's the founder of an agency of translation. So again, she's the founder, she's not the one doing the service, but the values that she's bringing into her company are really important. So for example, she's working with impact-driven companies. she has a story behind of why she's doing that. And for her, was like her mom and her father, they were working on volunteering and doing all kind of non-profit services and all that. So she has a family story on why she's connected to that impact-driven company. So she can bring that. She can share the level of detail that you want. She can say, yeah, my family has an history related to non-profit. And that's it. Or she can go deeper because somehow she wants to share that. So you are the one deciding the level. I don't know if that can help you to think about ways for yourself.
Thank you, Remy. I got actually 2 more ideas while you've been speaking. First of all, yes, it's important to show my face. It can be just a professional face. I'm clear on that. Yes. And also you mentioned, why do I choose those brands? Actually, that is another space I can bring the story, not just in the about. So I just found another place where I can explain, why do I have that Swedish brand? What's the pros and cons, and why would I recommend, and for whom I would recommend? So thank you for that. Just was a bulk moment. Thank you.
Yeah, Angelica.
Well, yes, now I have a question. Now, just from listening to different things, and it is true, we have different profiles, but also we have different stories to tell or to highlight relevant areas of our story, of our professional story, if we want to be seen in Facebook or we want to be seen in LinkedIn, for example. Right? So whatever, I am super successful and I am super lucky, so thanks God for that. In Facebook, everybody loves me, but I haven't been able to succeed in LinkedIn, no matter how much I discuss the situation of housing in Madrid. Say. So what can you do with that regarding telling a story?
Okay. The first step is always looking at who is the people that you are trying to reach out. Because your stories is one, and it's you have your life path and all, but you are going to tell your story in different ways depending on who are you talking to, depending on what is your offering. So the first thing that I will do is try to understand who is the audience that you want to reach out there, specifically on LinkedIn. Which is the people that you are trying to connect with, and what are the elements that they are interacting more with, what kind of content are more interesting to them, and so on. That will be a different whole thing, because that will be strategy for LinkedIn, of course. But in terms of your story, look for what are the elements that are important for your offering to be highlighted, to stand out. What is different for what you offer than the offer of someone else? A solution that could be similar for the problem that you are helping to solve. So try to highlight those elements that will help you to highlight your service. So
okay,
go through, going through your story and then identifying those type of elements. And then when you have clarity on the story that you want to share, you can play with the way that you are conveying that story, because maybe it's not the story the problem, is the how the format or that platform needs a different angle, or you need to maybe, instead of videos, they work better with the text. So approaching that will be a second step. But first, you will have clarity on which story are you interested to share, and then playing with the format. And experiment will be my suggestion, to try different ways and see if they are reacting better with different ways.
Okay, thank you.
Did anybody else have a question before we wrap up? No? Cool. Well, thank you very much, Remy. We will, B.I.G will put this recording into the B.I.G and Costa Women group that we have on Facebook. So if you haven't found it yet, just look up B.I.G and Costa Women, I think it's called, or something very similar. And we will share the video there too. thank you for joining. If you haven't put your contact details in the chat, do so if you want to connect with other ladies, and then we can download that as well. Thank you, Michaela, for stepping in to this afternoon. I love your job title.
Makes me happy too. No, and thank you, Ali, always for this partnership. It's such a beautiful, beautiful blend. I think we had like 8 different countries represented. I don't know if I'm getting it all right. I stopped counting because I was a little excited about it. But that's, you know, that's powerful. And Remy, you know, thank you so much. I enjoyed the difference of thinking and how to put the pieces together, right? Like, and I love visuals, so the Venn diagrams make me very happy. I love silos, so breaking it into parts made me very happy. So thank you very much for your generosity of sharing your gift today. I appreciate that. Yeah, and to everyone else, really. Sorry about, I missed that.
Yeah, thank you for this. And if anyone wants to ask something else or feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to bring more examples and share different points so it can be illustrating for helping you to think about your own story.
Yeah, well, and Melanie just commented, agree with Remy completely, such a similar approach. And I want to highlight her. We worked through B.I.G. We're working on our profile pages on the website. So she did a presentation. And Melanie, I mean, I'll probably get the song wrong, but she uses a story of what playing Red Rover as a child to make the big leap to how she uses her gift today. And I was thinking of that, Melanie, as we went through, as we were going through those different opportunities to connect. And I'm like, oh my, now I'm taking a trip down memory lane and I got to slow down and focus.
Well, yeah, and thank you for mentioning that. And Remy, as you were speaking, I'm like, you know, I gave similar presentations. I'm also the Summit New Jersey Big Pod leader. And so there's recordings of me over the years, but I think everyone can also see the recording that I did, because anyone in Big has to create their bio page for the website. So it was last week, I think, and it should be up there recorded. But it's all about, you know, finding that aha moment that makes you do what you want to do today. And it's exactly everything you said. Who are your clients? What problem do they have? And what unique thing in your life can help fix that problem? So it's so funny how we have different approaches. Like, I'm not Venn diagrams and then all the, you know, more fancy stuff, but the messaging, which is the most important, and then what we're telling people they have to present to their clients, it's the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And so thank you both, because I was going back to my notes, Melanie, and making some more notes. So any other thoughts or comments or feedback? And as Melanie said, you know, we've got that video up. I'm happy to share it. Well, I think it's up. We'll have to check with Ali, our other Ali. But there's so much to offer when we share our stories, right? And it's really nice to be able to pull it in and make it meaningful, right? We only have people's attention for so long. So all that said, if there are no other questions or feedback, I hope you all make it an absolutely fabulous day wherever you are in the time zones, and hopefully we'll see you next month at our next one.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you,
ladies.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Remy.
Bye. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. Hi, Christina. All right.